Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the River Road Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I'm Laura Piervincenzi, your Associate Director of Religious Education. If this is your first time here in person, we welcome you. We hope you will stop by the welcome table in the lobby so we can get to know you and get connected. For those watching live on YouTube, please feel free to join in the chat with your online host. If you are watching this at a later date and have questions, please visit our website to learn how to connect with us. We have a few announcements this morning. First of all, today is the day of the To Be Well Fed food packing party. So all month we've been collecting food for To Be Well Fed. We've been collecting food all month, and I know many of you brought food this morning. And so when the worship service is over, we invite you to go into the lounge for coffee and to meet and greet each other. And then at 11:30, you can make your way down to the fellowship hall to start packing all the food. And while you're in there, please be sure to check out the members' art show on the walls. It's only up for 2 more weeks. Youth choirs begin rehearsing on September 9th. Contact Cliff if your child, kindergarten through 12th grade, is interested in joining a choir. And religious education begins on September 14th, and the registration is open now. There are signs throughout the building with a QR code, so you can get easy access to the registration form. We are repainting some areas of the building. The office hallway upstairs is completed. The fellowship building hallways across the bridge will be done early this week. Just an FYI in case you happen to come in while this is happening. Finally, candles are available up here and in the back to be lit at any time that you are moved to do so throughout the service. And at the back of the room, we have our soul work that you also can access at any time that you would like to throughout the service. Thank you.
We begin our time together by lighting our chalice, the chosen symbol of our faith, with these words by Mary Oliver. It's one of my favorite of her poems. I went out of the schoolhouse fast and through the gardens and to the woods and spent all summer forgetting what I had been taught. 2 times 2 in diligence and so forth, how to be modest and useful and how to succeed and so forth. Machines and oil and plastic and money and so forth. By fall, I had healed somewhat, but was summoned back to the chalky rooms and the desks to sit and remember the way the river kept rolling its pebbles, the way the wild wrens sang, though they hadn't a penny in the bank, the way the flowers were dressed in nothing but light. And now I ask you to rise as you are willing and able and join us in singing our opening hymn, number 1010, We Give Thanks.
Good morning. You seem a little subdued today. Just a little. Hopefully that energy will rise as we go through the service. This morning, as we're gathered here together on this precious day, with backpacks and briefcases and food at our feet and in bags ready to be donated, we acknowledge one of life's universal rhythms, the transition from summer's slower pace to autumn's renewed purpose. For many of us, this time brings excitement, new notebooks with clean pages, fresh possibilities, the anticipation of learning and growth. There's something deeply hopeful about the beginning of September, I think. The sense that we can begin again, that this year might hold new discoveries, new friendships, and new understandings. But as Unitarian Universalists, we're called to see beyond our own experience, to recognize that this same transition carries vastly different meanings for different families in our community. While some children return to school with backpacks filled with carefully chosen supplies and lunchboxes packed with nutritious meals, others face this season with anxiety about having enough food, enough supplies, enough support. Theologian Rebecca Parker reminds us that the good news is that love is the nature of ultimate reality. Yet for too many children in our own area, in Bethesda, in Chevy Chase, in DC, in the entire DMV, that ultimate reality feels so distant when they're wondering where their next meal will come from. The reality is that here in the DMV, where the monuments to our nation's ideals stand tall, thousands of children go to bed hungry. Nationwide, nearly 14 million children live in households that struggle to get the nutrition they need, threatening their growth and development. And this is not about lazy parents. This is not about poor choices. This is about systemic inequity that denies children the basic human right to adequate nutrition. Consider this sobering reality. In Mississippi, 99.7% of the student population were eligible for free and reduced lunch. 99.7% in the school year before last. These statistics represent real children with names and identities and potential and dreams, big dreams. Children who arrive at school each morning, though, carrying not just backpacks, but the weight of food insecurity. For many of these children, the school breakfast and lunch represent their most reliable meals of the day. It's tough to focus on schoolwork when you're hungry. It's tough to focus on grown-up work when you're hungry. It's tough to do your job when you're not eating so that your child can. Children's test scores drop when SNAP's modest benefits run out at the end of the month, or when the government stops them for no good reason. When we think about educational equity, we can't separate learning from basic human needs. What makes this moral crisis even more urgent, and I've alluded to this, is the deliberate dismantling of programs designed to help. The current administration has launched what can only be described as a systematic attack on the social safety net that millions of families depend upon. The recently signed tax bill slashes food assistance benefits from SNAP by an estimated $186 billion over the next decade, the largest cut in American history. Think about that 99.7% of the children in Mississippi. What is this going to do to that number? These devastating reductions will result in an estimated 18 million children losing access to free school meals. 18 million. That's too many. These cuts are extensive and cruel. Nearly 400,000 SSI beneficiaries living with family or friends experiencing their own financial struggles will likely have their benefits cut, typically by hundreds of dollars per month, or lose eligibility altogether. The $660 million Local Food for Schools program, which helped schools buy from local farms, was canceled for 2025. Programs that provide meals when school is out, critical for families, especially during the summer months, face elimination. The Social Security Administration announced that it aims to cut 7,000 jobs, raising concerns about staffing at an agency that disperses benefits to tens of millions of Americans. When agencies are understaffed, vulnerable people suffer. Children and families who need help fall through ever-widening cracks. These are not abstract policy debates. There's nothing abstract about it. These represent a deliberate choice to prioritize tax cuts for the wealthy over food for hungry children. The average annual savings from these benefits cuts would barely pay for a single day of these massive tax cuts. As Unitarian Universalists, we can't be neutral in the face of this injustice. We can't. Our first principle affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every person, including every child who goes to bed hungry at night. Our second principle calls us to justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Our sixth principle challenges us to work for the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Our seventh principle recognizes our interdependence in a web of connection with one another. Our 8th principle calls us to be mindful of our beloved community and to remember that we are all one. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose moral vision continues to inspire us and our movement, taught us that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. When children in our own area lack adequate nutrition, when federal policies deliberately increase childhood hunger, we are called to respond not just with charity alone, but with prophetic action. Our Universalist ancestors proclaimed a theology of universal love, the revolutionary idea that every soul is precious in the eyes of the divine. Today, that means recognizing that every child deserves not just our prayers, but our advocacy. Every child deserves to start the school day with a full belly and the security that comes from knowing that their basic needs are met. There's wisdom in acknowledging a fundamental truth. Everybody needs help sometimes. Everybody needs help sometimes. This isn't weakness. This is the human condition. Even those among us who have experienced privilege and abundance have relied on family support, on educational opportunities, on community networks, and countless unseen advantages. The children that we are supporting today through To Be Well Fed aren't different from our own children or grandchildren or nieces or nephews or brothers or sisters or neighbors in that their dreams, their curiosity, their capacity for joy and learning are limitless. The primary difference is circumstance. The accident of birth that determines whether a child grows up in a household with food security or food scarcity. When we provide backpacks filled with school supplies or contribute to food programs, we're not engaging in charity from above. We're participating in the beloved community that Dr. King envisioned. A community where everyone's well-being is connected, where we recognize our fundamental interdependence. Quoting Reverend Rebecca Parker again, we are not called to be perfect. We're called to be whole, and wholeness includes brokenness. Part of our wholeness as a community means acknowledging that some among us are struggling, and that their struggles are our struggles. And lest you think the some of us who are struggling are all out there, think again. Sometimes the people who are struggling are people who are sitting right next to you in this congregation, at work, in your doctor's office, at your social clubs or other events. It's not those people who are struggling. It is us. Their struggles are our struggles. Today's blessing of backpacks and briefcases and our To Be Well Fed drive, this is more than a ritual. I know you do it every year, but it's more than a ritual. It's a commitment. When we bless these ordinary objects, when we give, we are acknowledging the sacred nature of learning, of work, and of the daily rhythms that shape our lives. But we're also committing ourselves to ensure that every child has the opportunity to grow into a fully whole human. Our food drive today, supporting hungry students in DC schools, is theology in action. It's our recognition that feeding children is holy work, that ensuring no child goes hungry is a moral imperative that flows directly from our deepest values. 13th century Persian poet Rumi, he of Come, Come, Whoever You Are, also wrote, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." What draws us here to this place every week, every day, every year, every month, what we really love is the vision of a world where every child can thrive. That love will not lead us astray. It will lead us to act. So as we do this holy work today, collecting food and blessing briefcases and backpacks, let us also bless the hands that will carry them. May they be hands that reach out to help. May they be hands that refuse to remain idle in the face of injustice. May they be hands that pack extra food for a classmate, or that vote for policies supporting hungry families, or that donate to food banks and advocate for systemic change. And we'll bless the children today who are carrying these backpacks and who receive the food that you will give today. Not just our own children, but all children. May every child in Washington, D.C. and beyond have enough food to fuel their learning. May every child experience the security that comes from knowing that adults in their community care about their well-being. And may every child discover the joy of learning without the distraction of hunger. You know, we're doing this on one day, but it doesn't mean that today's the only day you can contribute. It doesn't mean that today is the only day you can help, the only day you can share, the only day you can serve. The work of justice is never finished. It's never finished. But it begins with moments just like this. It begins with moments where we choose love over indifference, where we choose action over complacency, and community care over individual success. So today, we're going to move forward, being blessed and blessing others, carrying our commitment to create a world where no child goes hungry, where every learner has what they need to thrive, because this is our calling. This is our calling. This is what Unitarian Universalism is all about. Creating beloved community here on earth. This is our sacred work. This is our love in action. Amen. As I was preparing for today, I thought about what's going on in our world this week. And I thought, oh, joys and sorrows. The things that we're talking about, the ill family members, the struggles with work, the uncertainty about employment, the happiness of seeing new grandbabies and nieces and nephews and all of those things. And then I realized there was something else going on. I thought about the people who would have their backpacks and briefcases blessed today. I thought about the recipients of the food that will be collected today. And that raised even more feelings in me. Because I'll tell you, I've been struggling this week. When we had our staff meeting on Tuesday, we always start with a check-in. A chance to find out how we're doing, really. And I paused for a moment, and I looked at our wonderful staff, and I said, I am unnerved with this world. I feel like something is going to happen. Something big. No, I'm not worried about myself. I'm not worried about anything like that, but I feel something big is coming. And as I was watching the news, something I really try not to do, I heard a man telling a story about ordering food by DoorDash or Grubhub, one of those services. And you know, the app tells you that the driver's in your neighborhood, and so many minutes later, he still didn't have his food. And he couldn't figure out what was going on, so he thought he'd go outside to look, to see if maybe the driver couldn't find his house, which he thought was odd because he ordered all the time. It turned out the delivery driver, who'd been on a motorbike, had been snatched by ICE at the end of his block. I am feeling unnerved. This country is in, I don't even know what to call this. I am unnerved. And it felt important to me to say that in front of the staff so that they wouldn't think, oh, Reverend Connie's holding us all and she's great, so if she's great, we must be great. As we went around the room, it echoed. I'm feeling unnerved too. And I said, on Sunday, I know it's not in the script, but I need to name this for the congregation. How many of you are feeling unnerved? Yeah. Look around, y'all. You're not alone. It's here. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's coming. I don't know how to fix it. I barely know how to deal with it. I was scheduled to go out to dinner tonight with 2 Black women ministers, UU ministers, and we canceled our plans for health reasons. One of us is recovering from COVID. But in the back of my mind, I was a little relieved because 3 Black women going out to a restaurant in DC felt unsafe to me. I'm not doing things because I feel unnerved. Have any of you canceled plans or are not doing anything because you feel unnerved? Too many. Too many. Let's hold one another in this moment. If you need a hug, ask for a hug. If you need to talk to someone, reach out. If you want to schedule some time with me, use Calendly in my email or send me an email and we'll schedule something. Please don't sit alone and stew and worry and spiral. We are all in this together. And while we're thinking about that, let's take a moment now. And I invite you to call out specifically what's on your mind, what's on your heart, what you're holding. Maybe it is a feeling of unnerve, maybe it's a joy. And if you've got a joy, please share it. I'm sure the rest of us could use it. But I invite you to call those out or even to light a candle for something you don't want to say aloud. for the joys and sorrows we've named, for all of those whose names we don't know, and for all that is carefully guarded in our hearts, let us now be silent together for a moment, after which we will sing Spirit of Life.
Good morning. Anybody else notice the sunlight come out during that moment of meditation? That was great. A beautiful day to be together. My name's Dave Kivita. I am co-founder of To Be Well Fed. You want to introduce yourself? Okay. He's going to do it later. He's in charge. My wife, Alicia, is co-founder of To Be Well Fed, and we're very excited to be here for this month's Extend the Offering. We've talked about some tough things this morning. I want to talk about one of the really positive things that this congregation does and the amazing work that we do and celebrate that work. And I think we've got a slideshow that's going to pop up. I think it's important to understand that To Be Well Fed, while we are our own 501c3, we were really founded, the genesis of the organization was created here after a sermon by Reverend Karen Rasmussen talking about how students often return to school on Monday without enough food to eat. And so it's great to provide food on Fridays and send that food home with students. And at the time, I was working with a school in the Congress Heights neighborhood in Southeast around doing literacy instruction and sort of realizing that I could do the greatest literacy instruction with these kids in the world if they're arriving at school hungry every day. Their brain is literally not ready to receive that learning. And so Alicia and I sort of cobbled together some money and some friends on Facebook, and we started providing 5 meals a week on Fridays. And we did that for a little while. We started to add some other meals in some other schools. It gradually grew. We eventually became a 501c3. And as it grew, River Road began to participate even more and more in that work. In fact, we have a space that's down below the fellowship hall where we have several refrigerators and freezers, and the food that we are going to talk about this week is stored in there before it gets delivered out. So this is literally the work that this congregation participates in, and I want to celebrate that work that you all participate in and bring a little bit of awareness to what kind of work River Road does through To Be Well Fed every single week, even if you may not be that aware of it. So we start on Sundays. Today's Sunday, of course. And we rescue food down at the DuPont Circle Farmers Market. So about 2 o'clock this afternoon, we're going to drive down to DuPont Circle Farmers Market, and we collect food that is left over that hasn't been sold. Most of that is organic, very fresh, amazing produce. You can see my son, Luther, there gathering up this food that other volunteers help put together. If we can see the next slide. There's my youngest Memphis gathering up some of this food as it comes back. You can see how gorgeous it is. Go ahead and take the next slide. This is food, again, that didn't get sold, so it would go to waste if someone wasn't going to gather it up. And we're able to gather this food up. That's my middle child, Abdisa, working with some food there. Go ahead to the next slide. And it is a ton of food. We fill this little blue van that we've got that you guys have probably seen in the back of the parking lot. So on Sunday, that van is completely full. We bring it all back here. And go ahead to the next slide. Compost the parts that need to get composted. And then on Monday, a group of ladies known as the Badass Church Ladies comes in. And you'll see many of them in green shirts today. And they go through and they compost a lot of the food and help us get organized, because Alicia and I do a lot of work, but organization sometimes is a hard thing for us. So they get us all very well organized so that then on Tuesday, go ahead to the next slide. On Tuesday, we can deliver out to 2 different locations. So we pack that blue van full, drive through the city out to Congress Heights, and I'm saying we. Should say this is entirely done by Alicia. And some volunteers who occasionally go along and deliver that food out on the left. That's Savoy Elementary School, which is right in the heart of Anacostia. On the right is Far Southeast Collaborative. And so we deliver all of that food. We basically split the truck in half and deliver half to one, half to the other. Go ahead to the next slide. And you can see there, that's Savoy Elementary School. They put their food out at the end of the day, and families line up to come and get the food. And they expect it'll be there every single Tuesday. And that is a long line of folks. You can't see the whole thing. It's families whose students go there. It's also, if there's anything left, families from the neighborhood who may not have students there are also invited to come and collect the food. Go ahead to the next slide. We then drive back across town. You can see our famous Reverend Connie over there helping out, to the Wegmans. The Wegmans that is up in Tenleytown, and rescue food. And as you can see, sort of in this picture, maybe go to the next slide. Oh, okay, yeah, you can back up, sorry. So what I was trying to get, there's a picture of it later. You'll see that there's the van and then there's another car, because there's so much food to rescue. And we don't have enough space to put it all into the small van that we have, which is one of the things we're trying to do, is raise money for a larger van so that we're not having to use multiple vehicles. We can rescue more food, we can deliver more food, and we can do so more efficiently and effectively. So we rescue that food from Wegmans on Tuesday, bring it back out here, store it, and then on Wednesday, start off the day with a rescue from the giant food in Cathedral Heights. Bring that back here, combine it with the food that's rescued from Tuesday, drive it on out, and next slide. On Wednesday, take it to 2 different locations. One is Smart from the Start, and one is Friendship Southeast, which is a charter school. Smart from the Start also participates in an event called Cure the Streets, which takes place on Alabama Avenue. And so again, I wanted to emphasize, Cure the Streets is this event on Wednesdays. All of that is our food that To Be Well Fed and River Road has put together to bring out to a event that is designed to heal some of the violence that's occurring there, right? We actually have to do, for one of these organizations, 2 different deliveries, one on either side of Alabama Avenue, because some families will not cross Alabama Avenue to go to the other side because of gang conflict. That's what this Cure the Streets event is about, and that whole event is put on really via the work of River Road. So when Reverend Connie talks about the beloved community and the prophetic work that this congregation does, that's it in reality, happening every single week. Go ahead to the next slide. And so that's some of that DuPont Circle Farmers Market produce showing up on Alabama Avenue on Wednesday. Gorgeous stuff. If you don't know the stats, in Ward 8, there are about 80,000 people. There is one full-service grocery store. It's a giant. It doesn't have the best selection, and there has been some discussion about potentially it closing. And you juxtapose that with what we've got in Upper Northwest DC. I'm naming off grocery stores that are all right within walking distance of each other, right? Go ahead and hit the next slide. On Thursday, oh, that's the giant rescue, sorry. Wednesday is the Safeway rescue at Sangamore Road Safeway. If you're familiar with that Safeway, we get food from there as well. This is giant. Our kids come and participate in all of this when they're not at school. And it's great food that we're able to pick up. Go ahead and hit the next slide. On Thursday, then, we go in and deliver to Garfield Elementary, which is also in the Congress Heights neighborhood in Southeast, and then to another collaborative, community center, Smart from the Start, which is operated out of an AME church on Alabama Avenue. Go ahead to the next slide. And there you can see some more pictures of what the deliveries look like and just how much food it is that we're talking about. Go ahead to the next one. There's all the happy faces of folks who are volunteering. We provide the food to them. They figure out how they're going to distribute it to folks. I do have lots of stories about how there's lines of folks lined up outside these buildings when Alicia shows up. They start cheering when they see the little blue van coming. There used to be a fence that blocked off one part of it. The fence is gone because people toppled it. There are getting longer and longer lines in need of food. Go ahead to the next slide. And then on Friday, there we go, we've got the two vans, and you can see how large. We've got another rescue from Wegmans on Friday. And so that's 6 days a week that we're doing this work. That's actually me on lunch hour from my regular job, because when we have that much food, we've got to have two vehicles in order to get it into to bring it back, okay? So that's a little bit of the work. You can go ahead to the next slide. This is some of the gorgeous food that gets picked up that we're able to deliver across town. It's really amazing stuff. This would go, again, to waste if folks weren't picking it up. Go ahead to the next slide. So on the right is what the room downstairs underneath the fellowship hall looks like after we've received a bunch of food. So it's a ton of stuff. Go ahead to the next slide. There's Lacey Morris, who is one of our best volunteers. Lacey often does the Sunday rescues. And you all might recognize a certain minister's daughter there with Luther on the right-hand side as well. Go ahead to the next slide. So it really is a family-run organization, To Be Well-Fed, and a congregation-led organization through the work that you all help participate in. Go ahead to the next slide. And so just some quick stats. I talked about food rescue. Just from the two Wegmans rescues, if we start at the beginning of January, we've rescued over 232,000 pounds of food that would have gone to the dump. That's a carbon offset of almost 1 million pounds of CO2. And that's just from the Wegmans rescue alone, okay? We've done 160 plus food deliveries that feed over 300 families each and every single week. So again, I really hope that, I'm going to have Luther talk in just a moment. I really hope that you all, with all of the tough things that are going on in the world, can think about how River Road really is a beacon of light and an opportunity for doing some of that good work in the world. And you all participate in it every single day, whether you know it or not, just by being a member of this congregation. So I'm going to turn it over to Luther.
My name is Luther Kivita. I'm 16 years old. I'm the proud son of the two founders of To Be Well-Fed, Alicia and Dave Kivita. I'm going into my junior year in high school. I just finished 30 days in the wilderness. I'm about an inch away from dunking the basketball. And none of those things are possible if I was hungry. Hungry in the woods, not a good thing. Hungry if you want to be an athlete is not a good thing. Hungry if you want to be a scholar is not a good thing. None of those things go together. And so when I wake up and my mom asks me, hey, do you want to do something for To Be Well-Fed today? Do you want to come drop off this food with me? You don't have school today. Do you want to come pick up this rescue? In my mind, sometimes I want to say no because I'm exhausted. But I always end up going with her because I know that there's plenty of other kids in this city that have the same type of dreams as I do. They want to be engineers. They want to be NBA stars. They want to be NFL stars. They want to be medical sciences. They want to be neurosurgeons. And they have to study. They need to go to school for that stuff. They need the same sort of things that I need. And they need the same sort of things that I have. When I say need, I'm not in need. Everybody in this room is very privileged. We all wake up, we all cook breakfast for ourselves. We put toast in the toaster. We fry eggs in a pan with oil. Extra virgin olive oil, which is very expensive. All these things that we have, that we wake up and we say we need, really we already have them. There are people in this city that need these things. They need us. They need people to go out of their way, take action. They don't need people to be indifferent. They don't need people to not be working against them. They need people to be working with them. And that's what we do at To Be Well Fed. And like my dad said, you guys are a big part of To Be Well Fed. Just being part of this congregation is helpful. Just being part of the people that support the upkeep of this church, that supports the upkeep of our room, that's helpful. But we have goals, and my mom can work 60 hours a week, 60 plus hours a week. I can do what I can when I get off school, and my dad can work behind the scenes as much as he can off his job time. But in the end, realistically, there's only 5 of us. There's only so much we can do alone. So we need you guys to do what you guys can whenever you can to help us out. So like my dad said, our goal is to get a bigger van so we can deliver more efficiently and pick up more food. And our goal is a new van and a new fridge because storing food here is important. Sometimes we can't get all the food out at once because our van is too small, so we have to store it. But sometimes our fridges get full, so we end up dumping more food than we want to. But new fridges, new van, perfect. I'm not asking you guys for anything. I'm just asking you guys to think about the commitment you can give to us to help us with the work that we do, to help other kids that are just like me, that have dreams for their future and have things that they want to do, but they have things that they need that they don't have yet. Thank you very much.
Well, in support of To Be Well Fed and all of the children and families in DC that it serves, and in an effort to help them get that new van, the morning offering will be greatly received now. We do so mindful of the fact that we draw water from wells we did not dig and pick fruit from trees we did not plant. This is as it should be, so long as we dig and plant for those who come after. If this is your first time visiting, please feel free to let the basket pass you by. Your presence is your gift to us. You can contribute by visiting our website, rruuc.org, and clicking the blue Give Online button. You can also text to give. That number is 73256. Text RRUUC to 73256. You'll then receive a response containing a link to complete your donation. Thank you for sharing your time, your talents, and your treasure.
Unitarian Universalism is more than just a Sunday morning faith, as we have heard today. Every day, we want you to remember your community and the support that's here for you. We want you to feel loved wherever you are. Just like we're starting a new chapter of our congregation in our search process, you may also be starting a new class, a new school, a new job, or a new phase of life. So today, we're blessing whatever type of container that you bring with you on your daily basis. For those of you online, we bless your bags and with the reminder that River Road and this congregation are behind you as you go back to school and work.
We bless all that helps keep your life together: a book bag, a work bag, lunch bag, project bag, or electronic device. Phones and tablets count. We will bless whatever container helps you hold all you need to hold, which is good and that which is challenging. Allowing children to come forward first, we invite anyone who wants to come forward with a bag or just yourself to receive a blessing and a keychain reminder that you are blessed.
I didn't come down to the floor today because this guy. But for all of those things that you brought to be blessed, hold them up for a second. Woo, look at that. Look at that. May you go out into the world this fall, physically or virtually, walking, strolling, rolling, however you go out there, with the love of this community and blessings for a safe year of learning, working, growing, and serving. Amen and blessed be. I think we need to cement this with a song. What do you think? Feel like rising in body or spirit? Maybe even clap? I don't know. So we changed the words to this song. So I'm going to ask you to do two things at one time. Think about different words and clap. You think you can do it? Instead of come and go with me to that land, come and go with me back to school. Think you got it? Hit it, Cliff. Come and go with me back to school.
Our Unitarian Universalist principles and values call us to live our values out loud, not alone, and encourage us to be open-minded, open-hearted, spiritual communities helping people lead lives of justice, love, learning, and hope. Here's some ways that you can live those values in the coming weeks. Today is the day where you have an easy opportunity. After you enjoy refreshments in the lounge, you can go down to the fellowship hall and help with the To Be Well Fed food packing. Easy and fun. And also, there are many ways you can live your values by serving here at River Road. You can be teachers, greeters, ushers, small group leaders, adult religious education class leaders, and much more. There's a QR code that's on the refreshments table that you can scan and sign up for all sorts of things, and then someone will contact you to get you started.
We close our time of worship by extinguishing our chalice and reciting aloud together these words by Elizabeth Sell Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
When I made the decision to leave for seminary, my home congregation, First Unitarian Church of Philadelphia, gave me quite a send-off, including a big cake that looked like roots and wings. Because my roots in Unitarian Universalism had been formed in that congregation, and they gave me the wings to fly. And one of the church elders, you know, there are always those elders in the congregation, said, I have some words to share with you as you go off to seminary. It's an anonymous poem, and I'm going to share it as our closing words today. Advice to a student. Keep your feet on the floor, but let your love for learning soar. Keep your nose clean, but soil your hands with hard work. Keep your good common sense, but don't forget to use it. Keep doing your work, but remember the difference between done and well done. Keep yourself in your own space, but let your thoughts mingle with those of others. Keep your area clean, but clutter your mind with knowledge. Keep your sense of humor and share it when it will make someone else feel better. Keep turning in your library books on time, but never stop checking them out. Keep quiet in the halls, but speak loudly and proudly when presenting your ideas. Keep striving for answers, but never stop asking questions. Go in peace. Amen.